it's been just a whirlwind of changes. How often are we seeing updates in the dashboard when we log into the ad console?
I'd say multiple times a day.
So Amazon has now got all of this incredible information about buying behavior, more than anyone else in the world. So our ads are going to naturally just become smarter. Now more than ever, context is so important.
The biggest scare we're going to have is when it replaces the search bar with Rufus.
You can't just put keywords in and hope that you're going to start to position well for them. It's got AI that's able to predict what consumers are going to do next.
And that's when advertising is going to completely change.
There is something really big here. This is just the beginning of it. We've seen so many changes happen within the Amazon ecosystem over the last few weeks, and it's only fair that we share them with you. So Max, it's been just a whirlwind of changes, and I mean, how often are we seeing updates in the dashboard when we log into the ad console?
I'd say multiple times a day. It seems to be something new every time that you switch an account or you get a new notification that something's changed.
Yeah. The first one to start with is how many partnerships Amazon has kind of secured in the last few months. We've seen partnerships with Netflix, Spotify, now Microsoft, DSP. Is there any others that I'm missing?
I don't think so.
No, Disney Plus, and there's a few others. That where Amazon are now really expanding their programmatic reach. So video is becoming a way bigger part of their ad strategy and the ability to give us advertisers the more distribution options. So that's been a huge shift that we're seeing, and it's evolving. Netflix has been introduced in Q4, so it should be around now-ish. So by the time this video comes out, there's probably going to be opportunities to have your ads appear on there through the ad console. So that's one huge component that we've seen. Another big thing that we're seeing is just the integration of AI. So Amazon is now got all of this incredible information about buying behavior, more than anyone else in the world. It's got all of this data. Now it's got its distribution opening up to way more places. And in the middle of it, it's got AI that's able to predict what consumers are going to do next. And this is only getting better. So our ads are going to naturally just become smarter. And with the additional distribution, it's going to be more information, better placements, and an ability to find your customers in the places where they are. So this for me is really exciting. So I'm really, really chuffed to be in this space right now and see such developments. But kind of outside of the bigger picture, things that Amazon's been up to, what have you seen recently in the dashboards, Max, that's been quite new and could potentially, is gonna have a big change on
the PPC side? I suppose over the last couple of weeks, it's been sponsored product videos, which is huge. Yeah. That's going to open up. We're just in the initial testing phases of that. Really, we've seen mixed results so far, but it is very, very new. And then on the DSP side, some of the Performance Plus campaigns have been killing it, absolutely killing it. Yeah. And they're very much automated to an extent. You do have some manual input, but essentially that's Amazon taking care of it, and they have been doing very, very well. There's also Brand Plus, which hasn't been so great, but we're still experimenting with that. Yeah,
and going back to what you mentioned about the sponsored product video ads, I mean, I think people don't understand how big this is, because when sponsored brand video ads came out, the people that got in the quickest saw a huge uplift in sales. And at the time, we were really scrappy. So we just created some slideshows, put some music in the background, and just put them out, right? And at the time, because no one else has really done them, I think if you were going to like creative agencies, creating briefs and getting it all made, which took weeks, whereas we had that head start and we got the ads running, and that saw a real uplift in sales. Now, right now, you can have that. Well, it's rolled out in the US. You can have that for every product. So if you have that feature, which you can find within, if you go into Campaign Manager, go into the ad groups, and within ads, you should see a little new icon that says, is it video ads, right? Yeah. Click on that. get some videos in there. You don't want to waste any time, because if you can get in right now, it's going to have a huge impact. I think outside of that, another big move that Amazon's made is creative studios. So within the ad console, you have this powerful feature where you just put an ASIN, a product ASIN in, and it will create you a video. So it will take all the information about your brand from your listings, your information from your reviews, and it will compile something. So think of it like ChatGPT, but it's for it's built in Amazon. It's got all that data, and you just put your ASIN in, and it'll produce this information. And you can also add any information you have on your end. So if you've got a nice background you want to use, you can include it there. So that's another big feature that we've seen and we've been playing with, and it's free.
Yeah, and the ease of use of it is very, very good, I would say.
Easy, yeah.
I mean, I'm sure many of you will have used VO or Nano Banana or ChatGPT and so on, but the way it integrates with your seller account is key, really. Yeah. Your outputs will immediately go into your asset folder, so that you can pick them, and they'll all be compliant in terms of
that's an important point.
The outputs required, the video output sizes and lengths and so on for sponsor brand videos or now the sponsor product videos, and it'll even generate images for your image stack, although I've not had wonderful success with that. You're still getting sort of artifacts like additional arms and hands and things. So it's like creative outputs from the more mainstream AI from maybe 18 months ago. But in terms of producing videos for certainly fairly straightforward or simpler looking products, it's doing a pretty good job, particularly for video. So it's something that we're using on a daily basis, really.
And I think one of the big features that it has that you don't see in these other platforms is just the ability to edit. So once you've created the video, not only can you trim the video down to the size that you're looking for, clip out certain sections, but you can also move the text overlay wherever you want. You can change the font, you can change the color, you can do so much with it, and you have that ability to just have that free reign. And this is just the beginning of it. So this the Creative Studio, the new version's just come out in the US. We've seen it in Italy last week, and actually it's only going to get better. This is the first point. So Amazon can see just the importance of creatives now, and how we need to get more out there, especially with like sponsored brand video ads as well. That's a bit more seasoned, testing different messages out. So that's been more of an important factor now that you really have to consider.
And Amazon, there is obviously a lot of hate for Amazon, and particularly it's centered around their charges and fees, but they do provide an awful lot of resources and material to help sellers out, and it's down to sellers really to take advantage of that, and many don't, which is a real shame, because there are a lot of sellers, and 7-figure sellers I'm talking about and up, that are not using the full ad suite available to them, for instance, which can be hugely or pivotal almost in how they're perceived online and their reach for advertising. So only using sponsored products and not using sponsored brands, sponsored display and so on, or combining that if you're at the right stage with DSP, you've got to have that whole suite, and that's where things like Amazon Marketing Cloud come into play, where you can look at the pathway to conversion and the ads that have been seen on that pathway, and then tailor that into your sort of ad strategy. But it's so important to use these. Creative Studio's been great. I've been using it since I first heard about it, to create sort of 10-second sponsor brand ads, really simple ones, particularly if you're doing things like if you've got a seasonal brand. So many of the seasonal brands that we manage at the moment are using it to create Christmas or Thanksgiving videos, Christmas videos and New Year videos really quickly. And again, it's important to keep abreast of it and keep updating your creatives, because it can make a difference. We see big conversion improvements if we put a Christmas tree or a bow on the sponsor brand ad, rather than just leaving it as it is, sort of quarter on quarter, year on year. So you've got to keep changing things. That really goes for everything on Amazon. So change your creatives, change your listing copy at least every quarter, and experiment with that. If the conversion rates goes down, and you can A/B test obviously on Amazon and split test things, then change it back or try something different. But it's all about trying new things constantly almost, and that goes down to products and your product range. Amazon love to see you releasing new products and launching new products on the platform. And if you're sort of a stalwart and haven't released anything in 6 months, 12 months, then I think a few of us would probably hazard a guess that does affect you as a brand overall. There's nothing concrete about it, but we have seen when brands are launching products regularly, sort of every quarter, every 6 months, and testing new things, that there's a little push, a little hidden push somewhere for them.
And I mean, the big disadvantage is, I mean, the data that we have is great, but like if you have that one product, that hero product, or you have a few that make most of your sales, everyone else can see that, right? So, and it's open information now, so they can see how much money you're making, and this is against the world, right? So they can see what you're doing, so they might be able to find that edge that you've missed. Well, someone will, and they will come in and they will try and take that spot from you. So if you're keeping with the same few products, unless you're promoting it into different channels, distribution channels, and you've got a lot of stuff going on outside of Amazon, you really do need to be launching other products, because you should technically be treating it as a front door into your brand. So if it's doing well, okay, let's take advantage of these customers who are really happy with what you got. What else would they need? I mean, I'll give you one example, right? There's a fog machine. I saw this fog machine on Amazon, right? Crushing, and it doesn't sell the fluid that goes in the fog machine. And I was like, oh my goodness, that is a way.
And it's going to a competitor.
It's going to a competitor, and they're lapping it up. But just having that additional product in place can like triple your lifetime value minimum. You know, how many times are they gonna buy the fluid? It's not going to last forever. So there's just certain areas like that where you really have to kind of consider it. And I think what's really important, we mentioned about this data we have, is I know, Max, every time we speak to new clients or brands that are kind of wanting to kind of engage with us, just the sheer lack of use of the search query performance report. It still blows my mind. Now, there's a lot of amazing things out there, and there's lots of great features that Amazon's introduced, but that comes into probably the single most important tool you have at your disposal. So you have to be brand registered, and then if you go into brand analytics, you're not only able to see the conversion rate for your keyword, you can also see what market share you have in terms of clicks, impressions, and the conversion. So let's just say you have 3 keywords. Let's just keep it simple. Let's say you have 2 keywords. One keyword, you're getting 10 sales, and the other keyword, you're also getting 10 sales. But the first keyword has the ability to get an additional 1,000 sales, because that's how many sales are out there, is 1,000, whereas the other is only 50, right? You would have to put less effort into that first keyword to get just a bit more sales than you would to the one that only has 50, because there's just such a higher market share. And this is the information we have. So if you can figure out, okay, where do you win in terms of the conversion rate? And then next you look at, okay, what market share is going to be big enough and good for you to take over and push harder in. It's all there. All that information is there for you to look at, and it's updated on a weekly basis. So you can log in and see where you stand week by week. But in terms of the search query report, Max, how else have you used it? Because I know you've been doing some interesting things with launches.
Yeah, it's to do with, like you said, looking at the conversion rates mainly and comparing for a particular keyword how your product converts in comparison to the category average. That's hugely important. If you're converting significantly above it, then we push that hard to try and cement that position. If we're slightly below it, again, we'll look at different strategies. If we're way below it, then we need to look at how we're communicating that potentially within the listing and the creatives. But what it also tells you is category pricing. And so you can compare your own product pricing for a particular search on your ASIN in comparison to the sort of category average price for that particular search query. And that's really important. And we've made some really significant gains where we've adjusted pricing, obviously doing profitability analysis as well as part of that to ensure that we're still retaining margins. But looking at how we can adjust, if it's looking at whether it's the listing that's an issue or whether the price is an issue. So we need to look at those in combination and have a selling partner that's willing to experiment and test that. And going back to what we were sort of talking about with AI as well, it's just so important to interrogate Rufus. Ask it as many questions. Look at what it's saying about your competition as well, because that, in conjunction with search query reports, in conjunction with the product opportunity explorers, you were talking about how everything is available really for a seller. You have to look for it and do your due diligence and pull several reports, but you can find the information needed to look at where you can gain an advantage over a competitor. And so that again is part of the process that we have. But search query reports, we pull brand reports, looking at the whole brand obviously on a monthly basis, and then we'll pull ASIN search query reports to do an ASIN audit, either when necessary, but at least monthly. As you say, they're updated every week, so sometimes we pull those on a sort of bi-weekly basis generally for ASINs, and it just allows us to keep that edge and ensure that, again, looking at conversion rates, which is probably one of the most important metrics that we have as an agency, to ensure that we're keeping ahead of the competition.
Yeah, and you mentioned a second ago a really key point, Rufus, which is going to be the next part of our conversation. And I think before we move into Rufus, there's just a huge shift now where people are not even treating the search engines like a search engine. They are so conditioned by the likes of ChatGPT, where people are actually having a conversation, and this is where Rufus has come in. So you're able to not only ask it questions. I mean, I'll give you one example. I wanted to buy this iPad stand for my tripod, and I didn't even know how to get the iPad behind the phone so I can have a transcript, right? So I can read off. So I just put into Rufus, is there a product that exists where I could put my iPad behind the iPhone tripod? Now, what Amazon did at this point is it went and looked at the product that I bought recently, assumed that it was the tripod I bought a week ago, and found me a product that fits well with that tripod, right? So that was the first result. I didn't need to look anywhere else. Great reviews. I just bought it. And that was for me a real moment where I was like, okay, there is something really big here. And I think the ability to put in front of a customer something that they need before they even ask for it or know how to ask for what they need is huge. And this has evolved now because we're now seeing Rufus is out in the wild. It's left just Rufus, and you're seeing all these prompts everywhere. I mean, yesterday I searched collagen, right? And on the top of search, just under the sponsored brand ad, it said, would you like a collagen for a beginner? So I knew I didn't buy one. I have never bought it before. Would you like collagen for a beginner? And I clicked on it, and it gave me the best products to just start when you're going into collagen products. So it's feeding you this information with Rufus, isn't it?
Yeah, all the time. I think that the biggest scare we're going to have is when it replaces the search bar with Rufus, and I think that's going to be coming soon, because gone will be the sort of suggested prompts, and that's when advertising is going to completely change. I'm not sure when that's going to happen, but it will do, and we're having to prepare for it, because the way in which we're creating listings now is very much geared towards that semantic search sort of relevancy and the way in which consumer searches. So it's very much gone away from keyword driven and keyword stuffing, and it has been for a good sort of 12 months or more now, but it's completely changed the way in which we create a listing. And that's going back to the tool I mentioned in the previous podcast. We did the way in which the listings are created and the way in which the algorithm interprets them is very different to how it was 12 months ago. It's much more conversational. It's explaining the products more, and not necessarily using as you mentioned, collagen, you wouldn't necessarily have collagen powder or collagen peptides repeated several times anymore. It's all about communicating what the benefits are of collagen and how it can help you in your daily life. And that's what Amazon wants to see far more of, because again, that's feeding into Rufus, and that will enable you to be ideally one of those suggested brands or ASINs in the Rufus recommendations. And we'll very soon, I think, start to see us being able to bid for those positions through advertising, through the ads console. It's not come just yet, but I'm sure it's just around the corner.
And I think you made a really good point, Max. I think like now more than ever, context is so important. So Amazon really understands a listing better than it did before. So you can't just, like you said, you can't just put keywords in and hope that you're going to start to position well for them. They're now more looking at, okay, who is your ideal customer? Like, who is this product trying to target? Like what is it they're trying to sell? So if someone searches a water bottle, not only does Amazon now consider the fact that they've searched water bottle, Amazon's going to know the kind of customer that they are. Is it a mum searching for her child, or is it a someone who goes to the gym often and wants something like a water bottle? Like, who is that person that's searching? Amazon knows that information, and that context, additional context you can give on your listing is going to help you a considerable amount, and it's only going to get more sophisticated. So the more information you can provide, the better. With one of our clients at the moment, they have a product that can be used for multiple different groups of people. So what we're doing now is we're actually creating different listings for the different avatars, and we're really centering it around that, just to see, okay, what kind of uplift are we now going to see by just doing that? So just be really thinking about where you sit now. Also,
just one thing to mention on that: the going back to the search query performance reports and looking at brand analytics. One of the other, which sort of supports what you're saying, one of the other important tools that we use to communicate what the product is and what we actually have on the listing is market basket analysis, which is also in the brand analytics platform. And it's vital to look at that. Look at the purchase combinations, the first purchase combination particularly, but it'll give you up to 3 purchase combinations of a particular ASIN that you have and what's commonly bought with your product. And so if someone's buying a water bottle and then they're buying running shorts or something like that with it, then you might want to center it on an audience more catered for runners or something like that. But if you're selling, I don't know, like a watch, and then the next purchase combination is a smartwatch, and the next purchase combination is a watch case or something like that, then you need to potentially either look at launching your own watch case if you don't have it, or cater towards looking at how compatible your product is with that second purchase combination. So really important to look at that, and again, we take that into our audits on a bi-weekly or monthly basis.
And I just wanted to kind of, as we land, this is probably the biggest topic right now that's been spoken about all over the ad space right now, which is prompts that were just recently introduced. This is just being shown within the ad console. So if you go into Campaign Manager, ad group, and then go into ads, you can see prompts. Now, this is going to be a big shift over the next few months. And I remember, like you said, that all the search bar go. Will people stop searching completely or go into just having a conversation with Amazon? If that is the case, prompts is going to be the big first test that we're going to see. How does it get adopted? Now, prompts right now, the way it's going to be introduced is it's automatically put into your campaigns, but it's going to be interesting to see, okay, how do people engage? How does Amazon know to find that balance with not being invasive, but also knowing when the right moment is? Because if they can get that sweet spot of finding that right moment when someone is likely to need something, it's going to be a big push. So that's something we're really excited about. And I just wanted to end on one question, Max. With everything that's happening now, where do you see the ad space going in the next 6 months or so?
I think it's still in that transient period, but it's going to be a lot more prompt-based, like you said. You can already ask Alexa to recommend you a product, and it will suggest a product based on what it's seeing on consumer trends on the platform. And I think we're going to have to really cater to that and get a head start through what we've talked about with the different ad types. If your product is recognised by Amazon as good value, as having good reviews and a good customer experience, that's going to get you to the top of the queue. And at the moment, we're trying all we can to ensure that our products are at the front of the queue for those kind of searches. I do believe that we will not necessarily lose the search bar, but it will be different. It will be customers asking for recommendations for what they want, and then you'll then get the search results based on that. It won't be a case of searching for collagen and you getting a list of collagens based on either how much that seller is pushing it through ads or how much sales volume they've got. It'll be very much, I mean, that will still factor in obviously, but it'll still very much be a case of does this product satisfy what the consumer's asked for? And you might get some odd curveballs in there. You already do with Rufus. You'll not necessarily get the top 5 products recommended in order of where they appear organically. For ranking, you do get some oddballs in there already, and so I think it's going to be an interesting time, and one which we'll try and keep abreast of. With those changes that come out every day from Amazon.
And I think just to end, I think where I see it in the next 6 months or so is, I think there's going to be more adoption of video ads. I think now it's become more accessible, but also you're able to use Amazon's data, so it's more refined. You'll be able to see where the sales are coming from. So video is going to play a bigger part in a lot of everyday brands that can actually take advantage, work with smaller budgets to test and get it right. So that's going to be really exciting to see that. Anyway, I hope you found this episode useful. Thank you so much for your time. Feel free to subscribe, like, comment, reach out. There's buttons somewhere, wherever around this page. Take care. Goodbye. So many updates, but the good news is, however, the fundamentals stay the same on Amazon. If you want to rank higher, you still need to show Amazon the right keywords. And in this next video, I'm going to show you a proven strategy we've used across many accounts to find the right keywords that actually move the needle. This is the fastest and most efficient way to spot what Amazon wants your products to rank for, so you can climb up higher and get more sales without relying on ads.